I am suspicious of Himiko now. It's too dark in here. We can't investigate even if we wanted to.
Got it.
Go to bring candles from other rooms to make this room bright, okay?
No.
No, that won't be necessary.
Ah.
Yeah, it's not necessary at all. Oh, your new ability?
Huh?
Huh? Why?
Listen up.
Show him, Kibo. Show me your new power. New power? Yeah, we saw. Oh.
His eyes lit up. I, Muiruma, the gorgeous girl genius, have installed a new function in Kibo.
Well, that's
Just leave it to
wonderful.
me. I will become the guiding light that shines on you all.
Okay, but you're kind of becoming the blinding light right now.
Shine on, shine on! Shine on, you crazy fucking diamond!
Okay, nice song reference there. Ah! And also a reference to the previous game, Crazy Diamond, as well. Man, what a lame function. You should have made him like a transformer or something.
It's okay.
But it's bright now, so we should hurry and investigate.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Evil's flashlight function has been added to. Okay, so that's relevant somehow. But it's obvious if he's gonna use that, right? Like, so it's obviously, it's not him who did the murder or anything, because we obviously would have all been able to see if he did that. Hole in the corner, that's what I want to look at. It's a small opening in the corner of the room. Doesn't look big enough for a person to get through, but still.
Is this?
A hole? Looks like there's space under here too. Oh, hold on. I can see something below. It looks like something dropped down there. What? Something dropped down there?
Got a minute?
After we check everywhere else, why don't we go under the floor and see for ourselves?
Okay.
Right, let's do it. Okay, so we have to check everything else first. Interesting. Well, I knew that was going to be relevant one way or another. That's not surprising. This, can I check the bottom of it, please? It's a wooden dog statue used in the seance. I believe it's called the Dog God. During the seance, this wooden statue was on top of the cage. It took 4 of us to remove it. This wooden statue is pretty heavy.
If I remember correctly.
You said it was about 175 pounds. About the weight of 2 girls.
What?
What do you know about girls? Have you even touched a woman besides your mother? What? Okay, there's no need to be that. There's no need to be that rude, Maki. Kidding, anyway. It's hard to know when you're kidding or not. This heavy thing was on top of the cage, and Tenko wouldn't have been able to get out easily. Actually, I think Tenko would have been able to do it. Tenko being able to move the weight of two people. Yeah, I think Tenko could do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right about that. It did sound like you were kidding earlier. Yeah. The dog statue has been added to the truthful section of your monopad. Okay, but we didn't say anything about what's like below it or anything. The ruined magic circle. I wish it wasn't just ruined, because then we would be able to see if anybody stepped onto parts of it. There's a magic circle Kyo drew on the floor, or at least it was.
Oh dear.
Been completely stomped over. I suppose it was unavoidable.
Well,
Is this drawn with salt?
Yes.
Wherever I perform a seance, I always use salt.
what?
Are you feeling alright? You sound ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. I have performed many successful seances. Why? I've even had spirits enter my book.
I'm right already.
Shut up. I don't want to hear about your stupid illusions. Monkey really doesn't beat around the bush. It's kind of refreshing, actually. I'm glad she doesn't believe in this nonsense. In any case, with all these footprints, I can't make out the original circle.
So what?
Find out in Kyo's lab. Should be written in the Cage Dog Village document.
Hey,
Isn't that right, Kyo? He was depressed. I suppose that makes sense. Well, yeah, he always wanted this kind of thing to work. And magic circle he drew added. Okay. The white sheet we used for the seance. Is there a hole in it? This was placed on top of the cage. If there's no hole in it, she got stabbed from below, I guess. Kyo was the one who removed it.
is this?
This cloth is pretty thick. It's similar to a window curtain, but it's completely opaque. And on the back, look, there's a blood stain on it. right around the middle of the sheet. But no hole in the fabric. Which means Tenko wasn't stabbed through this cloth. What, was she killed by the strike to the back of her neck? Because it would be pretty hard to stab her in the back of the neck from below.
Okay.
She was stabbed while underneath the cloth. We'll have to take a look at her in a second. Let me take another look at the where is it? Monokuma file. Stabbed in the back of her neck, yeah. No other injuries, just the back of her neck. That's super weird. How would that work if, like, nothing happened to the white cloth? Alright, Kimiko, why are you being so weird? You're looking depressed, but you're honestly not looking that depressed. Both your Angie, who you liked, is dead, and now Tenko, who has actually cared about you, is also dead. And you're just sitting here like, and that's it? That's all you got? I don't know. I guess everyone grieves differently, so it could just be her being sad. But I don't know. I don't like the way Himiko's reacting. Himiko, hey Himiko, be strong, Himiko. Everyone's always telling her that. That's not gonna help. Kota, if you shake Himiko that much, she's gonna break.
But
she's not talking. It's like Himiko not even here.
Like I thought.
I must have been really shocked over Tenko. Let's leave her be for now. Okay. Himiko. Yeah, she's just not gonna say anything, huh? Did I talk to Maki already?
Well,
These floorboards seem a little unstable to you. They're tough to walk on. The floorboards aren't nailed down. They're just lying on top of cross pieces. That's what Gonta told me. That's probably the reason they're a little unstable. They've only been laid on top. That's why they're unstable. Well, the boards are fairly thick and sturdy. I can't imagine they'd come loose easily.
is this?
But if somebody wanted to remove a floorboard, they could easily do so, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I suppose. So maybe somebody could remove another floorboard to make a big enough gap in that hole to go through. And then they could have, like, gone underneath. Like, let's say in one of the other rooms, there's not one. They could have, like, removed 2 boards instead of just one. Got underneath, came over to this room, opened this, stabbed her, went back under and left. I'm assuming that's what happened. If that's the case, the people who could have killed her would be Kaito. Gonta. No, not Gonta. That's not possible. He's too large. Hibo. Yumiko's really small. Maybe she could have done it without removing a floorboard, or she could have removed the floorboard, went under there, and then put it back when she was done. But I don't know. I feel like the other room has to come into play somehow, so I don't think that's it. Maki obviously didn't do it. Tsumugi is a possibility, and Mew. So I think the most likely people to kill Tenko right now are Tsumugi and Kaito. And I don't want it to be Kaito, but I think Kaito is actually the most likely because of how weird he's been acting. And how he just tried to hug Maki right there was really suspicious. And the fact that he seemed like really happy. Or like he seemed fine with everything. Like he seemed much more himself, I guess, after Tenko's death. As if a big weight was lifted off of his shoulders now that she was dead. I don't know. Okay, let's talk to Kibo.
Leave it to me.
I will become the guiding light that shines on you all. Right, Kokichi?
oh man.
Man, what a lame function. Should have made him like a transformer or something. Okay, so that's nothing to say. You though, what are you doing? I said things that made Tenko look suspicious. Now this. I'm sorry, Tenko.
Stop it.
Cry later.
What?
Huh?
Because.
Crying won't bring Tenko back. And if we don't investigate thoroughly, we'll die too.
Okay.
We need to find the truth and pin down the culprit. For Tenko and all of us.
I guess.
You're right. Tenko would want us to figure it out so she'd have no regrets. That would be the best way to apologize. Still suspicious of Himiko. I don't know. Anyways, let's take a look at the body. And first, we'll take a look at the cage. What's the cage used in the seance?
Is this?
Looks to be around 3 feet high and 5 feet wide. Okay. It's a pretty large iron cage.
Okay.
Big enough for a person to fit inside. During the seance, Kokichi and I covered Tenko with the cage. We were supposed to remove it as well. Actually, it couldn't have been Himiko, because Himiko wanted to be the one in there in the first place, right? She wouldn't have suggested being there in the first place if she wanted to kill somebody. And also, if somebody wanted to kill a specific person using this elaborate setup, this was all left to chance about who would be the one in the middle of the circle. So that's a problem, right? Like, let's say that Kaito did do this, and Kaito specifically wanted to kill Tenko. But Tenko was almost not the person that went in there. It could very easily have been Himiko. If it was Himiko, then his plan wouldn't have worked out in any way. He would have killed the wrong person. So this murder could only have been from somebody who didn't care who got murdered? That doesn't make much sense, though. It was Himiko who rushed in and removed the cage first. Unless they didn't care who got murdered and just wanted to pin it on someone else or make someone else look suspicious. Hey, look at this.
Is this?
A bloodstain on the bottom of the cage. Probably Tenko's blood, yeah?
That's true.
Yeah, I imagine so. The splatter must have been made when she was killed.
What do you mean?
Which means Tenko was killed while she was inside the cage. That was kind of obvious, yes?
Okay.
I think you're right. Tenko went under the cage before the seance. When the cage was lifted after the seance, she was already dead.
Then?
She was stabbed right when the cage was lifted. That would explain this bloodstain, right? Right when it was lifted? No, but we saw blood before we even went to go pick up the cage.
Huh?
Perhaps she wasn't killed during the seance, but the exact moment the cage was lifted. That's a possibility. No, I saw the blood. It wasn't. Unless it's just a game thing, and the blood actually wasn't there yet. If we accept that as a possibility, and we accepted the fact that I saw blood is actually not canon, then sure, somebody could have, when we went up there, went and stabbed, and that would have been Kokichi. But I don't believe Kokichi would do this. I believe in Kokichi. And why? Because I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my heart that Kokichi would not do this to us. That's why. That's my infallible logic. All right. Take a look at the stone. There's a rock next to Tenko's body. This must be... yeah, the marker stone that says, put yourself exactly here so you can be stabbed. It's just a stone I brought from the courtyard. Are you sure it worked? Yeah, we knew all that. Tenko had her forehead on this rock, hunched over. She had to make herself small to fit inside the cage. Alright, let's look at the obvious floorboard issue. Ah, this floorboard is loose. It's the one right under Tenko.
Why?
Why is this floorboard loose?
If I remember correctly.
It wasn't like this before. It must have come loose during the seance.
Why?
Why would it come loose during the seance?
But
A floorboard this thick and heavy wouldn't have come loose easily. And someone must have loosened it on purpose. Loose floorboard has been added to the truth boards. Yeah. That's clearly important. Now let's look at the body. Tenko's dead body. She took her last breath crouched over like this. According to the Monokuma file, her only injury is a stab wound to her neck. Now my question is, what was the murder weapon? This wound was fatal. Must have caused instant death. I didn't hear a scream during the seance. Yeah, that's weird, actually. That is one thing that's weird. Like, I imagine it's not that easy to instantly kill somebody with a stab. And it's not even a stab to the head. It was a stab to the neck. And sure, stabbing them in the neck, maybe they're gonna have a hard time speaking, but they'll still be able to go like, right? You still got lungs. You still got power over your lungs, unless like you've severed the spinal cord so that you can't actually do anything. Like it had to have severed the spinal cord in order for them to not be able to make any kind of sound. And that takes some serious, ridiculous force and precision. They like go between the separations in the spine, in the neck, and directly sever it. And also that looks like a vertical cut, not a horizontal one. So that doesn't make any sense, by the way. You have to cut vertically through bone in order to cut the spinal cord in a way that would prevent them from being able to control their lungs and make any kind of noise. There's just a lot going on here, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Understood. I will not say a word until the seance is over. I think I'll really keep her mouth shut despite the pain? I don't think so, honestly. I mean, I think Tenko maybe could do that if she wanted to, but in that situation, I don't think she would.
Nope.
Her death might not have been instant, but she couldn't have gone far before she bled out. Huh? What do you mean?
What's the point?
You were concerned about that, right?
Okay.
But the wound is deep. The victim is too shocked to do anything except die. I don't know about that, Maki. You are an ultimate assassin, but I don't believe you. Not in terms of like real life stuff. For the sake of the game, I'll say, okay, she's the master. She knows what she's talking about. I'll accept what she's saying for the sake of the game. But in real life, I would not believe this.
That's
Speaking from
obvious.
experience? Of course, quick deaths are my specialty. Well then, that makes sense.
By the way,
Real question is, what was she killed with? I don't see a murder weapon around. Yeah, you're right, I don't see an obvious murder weapon. That could be a clue. What else is there to see? Anything? I don't think so. Who haven't we talked to? Korikio?
That cannot be.
Why did this?
I knew it.
Kyo, I know the murder was pretty shocking.
But of course.
Of course. I am shocked about that as well. But why did the seance fail? We performed all the steps flawlessly. He was more concerned by that than the murder.
Ah, yes.
Oh, if we perform this caged child again, and summon Tenko's spirit this time. No.
this is stupid.
Cut the crap. Just tell me what happened during the seance. Both you and Shuichi were present, right? Did you get killed during the seance?
I see, yes.
True. It may be best to move past what happened. You know why the seance failed.
Is that so?
Whatever, just hurry up. At the time, in order to begin the seance, we had Tenko, the spiritual medium, position herself as a turtle within the magic circle as her head touched the stone. Then Shuichi and Kokichi placed the cage over Tenko. And after that, I placed a white cloth over the cage, or he placed the cloth over the cage, yes. All four of it, like when he placed a cloth, he could have done something. I suppose that's possible, but I don't believe that. And all four of us placed a wooden statue of the dog god atop the cage. Afterwards, we stood in the four corners of the room. Kokichi and Shuichi blew out the candles. And also, what kind of weird weapon would you need in order to like attack through that cloth, like from underneath it, to hit her neck? It'd kill her in one hit. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Stop with the white loading screens, jeez. Game developers, please stop doing white transition screens. Finally, we all sang the caged child song. The seance should have been complete, but now that you mentioned it, I remember hearing a strange sound during the song. Yeah, it was the thump or whatever. Quite a loud one. Sounds like a bunch of stuff falling over. It is a mystery to me as well. I thought someone may have tripped, perhaps. That's a pretty loud sound for someone tripping. Perhaps Kyo knows something.
What do you mean?
And then what happened?
Yes.
Ah, we called out to her, but no reply came. I had Shuichi and Kokichi relight the candles. And then we removed all the items from within the magic circle in the opposite order. First, all 4 of us removed the dog god's statue. Next, I took off the white cloth, and then Himiko ran over to the cage, and the moment she lifted it,
Stop with the white loading screens! Stop, game!
and it sounds like Tenko was definitely killed during the seance.
No.
But would it not be difficult in such darkness? Besides, she was in the cage, yes.
Then,
And when was she killed?
Well, that's...
Yes, that is a problem. Didn't somebody say something about being able to see well in the dark? I forgot. I might have to look at my video I recorded last time. I think it was Gonta though, who could see well in the dark, if I recall. It had to have been him. Obviously, Kibo could see well in the dark, probably with his night vision or something. But
I see, yes.
There's another problem,
How?
and that is, why ever did the seance fail? I simply cannot figure it out.
Perhaps.
Maybe someone moved from their corner. Did someone else sneak in here?
what's the point?
obviously, the seance, since this seance was clearly a sham. Maki was never one to pull her punches. Okay, so something, if we are to take the fact the seance not working as like some sort of thing that should have worked, then yeah, either somebody moved from their spot or somebody else joined in. And I think it's the latter.
Hey!
Maki, we finished investigating up here. Perhaps we should check under the floor?
By the way,
Seems pretty dark down there. What should we use for light?
That's true.
Let's bring a candle. With Kibo's light from up here, that should be fine.
okay.
Now go get a candle. Move that floorboard so we can go down.
Okay.
Okay, got it. Isn't it really safe to bring a candle underneath floorboards? You're gonna light this whole place on fire. I pulled off some of the floorboards near the hole and took the candle from Maki. Then we carefully made our way through the hole and under the floor. This is a big space. A lot more spacious than I thought. You can move pretty easily on all fours. There's a bit of the... Wow, there's like a bit of the subflooring cut out there.
Okay.
Let's look around for clues.
Well,
It'd look pretty stupid if we found no clues after crawling around in this dusty place.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's an obvious clue right here. Cut crosspiece. Ah, look! Part of the crosspiece that supports the floorboard is cut off.
that's true.
It's near the loose floorboard, and the portion missing is about the same width, too. From what I can see of it,
That's true.
it wasn't broken off naturally. This was cut by someone. There should be saws in the warehouse, so they could have used that. Question is why? Another crosspiece is supporting the floorboard, so it might not fall if this portion is missing.
Then,
So what purpose did this serve? The purpose it served was so that they could remove a floorboard from below easier, probably. The floorboard underneath Tenko's body is loose, and the crosspiece supporting it has been cut. If the culprit did all this, then why? And the culprit, if they wanted to do all this, they would have had to have been familiar with the whole seance stuff. Which means they would have had to have read Korikio's book, Caged Dog book, or been familiar with it in the past because they are the Caged Dog person. right? They were the survivor of the place. That's probably the most likely thing. In which case, I believe that was the person who survived was female, so maybe it was. So maybe that adds credence to my thoughts that the person behind it would be Tsumugi. But Himiko was the one who suggested the middle room here. So it should be Himiko that's at least an accomplice in this, the very least, if not the person who did it themselves. But then why would they need to have all this down here if they were the one who did it themselves? Because she was already in the room. I guess you need to go under and then stab from below and then get back. I guess that's what. I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm thinking, but I've lost my train of thought. Anyways, here's a clear lead to the murder weapon. A sickle. It's a sickle here. There's blood all over it.
Okay.
Oh, what I was thinking was the murderer clearly set that thing, that like cut up way ahead of time, right? But they would have had to know that Korkio was going to suggest a seance. Like, it seemed like the whole bunch of people were involved in determining the place, the fact that a seance would occur, and the place that a seance would occur, and the location of the person when the seance occurred. Like, there's a lot of things that went into this that were all involved different people. So, unless a few of them are working together and are accomplices, the person who did this had to get really lucky or predict in some way the way that things would go down.
Is this?
This came from my research lab.
Huh?
It did?
Well,
A sickle can be used to assassinate a target. Why on earth are you using a sickle to assassinate a target? It can be thrown without losing any lethality. And you can hide it under your clothes too. Can you? Okay.
Well,
If she was attacked with this, she wouldn't stand a chance. The blade is about 6 inches.
that's right.
And since Tenko was in the cage, she wouldn't have been able to defend herself. But even if this is our murder weapon, how did the culprit attack Tenko in the cage? Well, obviously they poked it out of the floorboards and then swiped down. The blade could fit through the gaps in the cage, but could it reach her neck?
That's true.
The cage is 3 feet high. If you were to stab it into it with a 6-inch blade... Oh. Well, it would depend on Tenko's posture, but I don't think it's impossible. Okay, so you'd have to, like, it'd probably be a bit of an awkward angle to get a good stab to happen. And her posture is the question.
Hey,
But we already knew that she was going to be in an exact position, so that's fine. That's fine in the murderer's point of view. Hey, if the weapon is down here, the culprit must have thrown it away, right?
that's true.
Perhaps after killing Tenko, the culprit threw the sickle under the floor in the dark? Or they could have been under the floor the entire time. Either of those is possible. I don't see how they could have used that weapon without being under the floor. Okay. Blood dripping from the gaps in the floorboards. Although if they did, they would be covered in blood. Fresh blood. This is definitely Tenko's. If somebody was down here and did that kind of attack and was standing right here, unless they did it like super fast and ran away, they'd probably get blood on them. At least a little bit. Also, there's a hole there. Probably to the other room. And dried blood. There's 2 different blood stains. What? Blood stain on the ground underneath the loose floorboard. Wait, what? That's pretty far from where Tenko's blood is dripping down. Isn't the same floorboard, just at different ends? That's where Angie died? Why is there blood here?
hey,
Hey, the back of this floorboard has blood on it too. It just flipped around. You're right. There's a little bit of blood on the underside of this floorboard.
What do you mean?
Denko's blood splatter here when she got killed?
That's true.
I wonder, I can't really be sure yet. No.
Okay.
But these bloodstains here are completely dry. There must be some reason these particular stains are dry. Dried blood under the floor has been added to the truth blood section of your modipad. Okay. Let me think. We clearly need to connect both of these murders together. Clearly, Angie's blood is that. That dried blood is Angie's blood. The question is it from her forehead cut, or is it from her back of her neck cut? I'm guessing it's supposed to be her back of the neck cut, because the forehead cut supposedly happened after she was dead or didn't bleed much? Or no, maybe it was... Whatever. One of the cuts caused that. And then later her body was moved to her... like the room with all the wax sculptures, and then she was either fully killed or she was already dead at that point. So like, did they do the exact same kind of ritual and they tried to perform it here? Or did they, is the Necronomicon's ritual like positioning similar? I don't think it is. All it said was just to wait till somebody taps you on the back or something. I don't think it said you need to crouch down, did it? Let me check. Do I have the Necronomicon truth bowl? I'm sure I do. Yeah. Effigy of the soul, blah blah blah. Label it. Sprinkle. Yeah, just close your eyes and wait for a tap on your back. It doesn't say anything about being in that specific position or anything. So, yeah, it's gotta be... I can't imagine it's anybody's blood but Angie's. But then why would this person who murdered Angie decide to come here and do the exact same murder again? What would be the point in that? Unless this was two different people. Like, the person who killed Angie used this floorboard. And then somebody else came and reused the same floorboard and didn't realize that Angie was killed here, but saw the blood and are like, huh, there's some blood here. I wonder what that's about. Whatever, I'll continue on with my murder. Like, is that what happened? Doesn't really make any sense, though. This is confusing. Oh, I love it. It's exactly what I want. I want to be confused. I want to not really know what's going on or who's the killer. I want to be able to try my very... Because I want to be able to try my very best and be completely wrong. That's the most fun for me. I don't know if it's the most fun for you guys watching this, but it's the most fun for me. And last trial, I know I got things much more right than I would like. I'd like to get things more wrong this time. Some of the wood is corroded and is broken off, so you can see in the next room.
Hey.
This is the wall of the empty room, right? Looks like there's wood along the wall. This part is rotted away. Well, at least those aren't like load-bearing supports. They look more like they're I don't know, decorative. Although I don't know why they'd be decorative underneath the flooring. Looks like natural rot. This hole wasn't made intentionally. But I can get into the next room through here.
That's true.
If I remember correctly, the room next door is also empty, right? Also, we should be looking for footprints. If somebody was down here in such a dirty, dusty crawl space, you know what would have been left on the culprit? A lot of dust, first off. If you ever went into a crawl space like this, you are not coming out of this clean. It doesn't matter if they have blood on them or not, if they're like doing a murder or not, getting blood on them or not. You come out of this, you can see that somebody came out of this. So that's probably not something that's going to be addressed. That's probably not something that's going to be a problem here, like a thing that exists in this game. But if this was real life, you'd very much be able to tell that somebody was in a crawl space. That you'd look at, all you have to do is look at their knees. Then the culprit could have gone from room to room by moving under here instead of using the hallway. I mean, they could have dusted themselves off, but even so. They would have left handprints on the floor. They would have left footprints.
No.
True, but it would have been difficult moving around onto the floor. We did all right because we had a light. Without that, it'd be pitch black. True. That might make it impossible to move around in here and there.
Nope.
And they could have used the light like we were doing right now. Yeah, we would have seen it. We would have seen it through the floorboards.
Well,
True. Use the light to move around on the floor? Is that possible? No, we definitely would have seen it. Even if we couldn't see through the floorboards, the light. If they had moved the floorboard underneath where Tenko was, the light that leaked out from that, and then underneath the tarp, even in a pitch black room, you would be able to notice that. You absolutely would. When there's absolutely no light, even the smallest leakage of light like that is going to be noticed. I think we finished investigating here.
is that all right?
Maki, you want to head back up? Why'd you ask? I'm starting to get fed up with all this dust. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, the dust. Who's dusty right now? Why didn't we check if we could go to the other rooms? After Maki and I crawled out from under the floor, we put the floorboards back and returned to our investigation.
By the way.
We've only been investigating this room. You sure that's wise?
Huh?
What do you mean?
Because
If Angie and Tenko have different killers, then the blackened we need to vote for is
You're right.
culprit for the first murder, the culprit who killed Angie. That's what Monokuma said. So instead of investigating Tenko's death, shouldn't we be investigating Angie's?
Okay.
Yes, of course. Yeah, but they're clearly connected in some way. But this is bigger than the killing game. For the sake of the two who died, I need to reveal the truth of both their deaths. Well, I understand why you'd feel that way. If you plan on investigating the other crime scene again, we should probably hurry. Yeah, she's always pouting like that. Very cute. Alright, lit candle. I couldn't tell if this candle was like in a different position, different holder than last time. Candles are hung on the walls. There's only a source of light in the room. There's no windows. Without it, it's pitch black. So how did the culprit kill Tenko in complete darkness? I didn't see any kind of marker they could have used to like mark where it was, other than obviously the blood. Alright. Let's leave the room. Let's check around. When I came to the hallway, what, Monokubs? A scene more surprising than I could ever imagine unfolded. Huh? What? What is that even? What? A third murder? Excuse me? Okay. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. That's very much like you, Kokichi. You know what? I appreciate you're still alive. I would have been very upset if Kokichi was dead here. Did I surprise you? We're gonna scream it. I'm using the wrong voice. I'm using a Monokuma voice. Did I surprise you? We're gonna scream and cry in terror?
Huh?
Oh, what are you doing? So is that not dried blood that we found on the floorboards? Is it actually whatever he's got on him, like paint? Possible, right? Oh, sorry. I'm just a little lightheaded from the blood loss. Yeah, this is real blood.
Why?
Okay, so what are you doing? I got curious about something, so I decided to search the empty room next door. And then suddenly, okay, so he got hit pretty hard. I stepped through the floorboard.
Huh?
Stepped through a floorboard?
That's so mean.
Jeez, that got me good. Because of this, I tripped and I fell pretty hard. Man, poor guy.
got a minute?
If you're going to lose consciousness, do it after you tell us everything.
Ah.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Hey, be nice to Kokichi. He just hurt his head. Somebody needs to help him. Guess there's no crosspiece supporting the floorboard, so I gotta step through. What bad luck. Crosspiece was gone? Does that mean... Yeah. No way we're done with the investigation. Huh?
Confidence. Dreams. That's what the killing game is all about.
If you say so.
Killing game fans, hold your head high and watch with your own two eyes. Baseball, soccer, mobile games. They're all nothing compared to the killing game.
Sure.
The killing game just can't be beat. Behold, students, the entrance to the trial grounds.
What? We're not done yet. I guess time's up. Oh man, it's because of you guys I didn't have enough time to check something.
Huh?
What were you trying to check?
See?
I wanted to re-research the seance again, so I brought this document with me. But unfortunately,
Man.
couldn't find anything new that could be used as a clue. Kyo perfectly reenacted the seance as what was written in the document. He drew his magic circle the same exact way as in this picture. Well, probably the measurements have to be precise, right? So most likely it has, if he's gonna draw the circle, he has to put the circle in the exact spot. He has to put the person in the exact spot. That's probably why it was reproducible. And actually, I just thought of something. But 1 second. Okay, what I thought of was, it's not actually always, it's not the same position. So, well, it's not necessarily the same position is what I'm trying to say. And that explains why there's blood splatters in 2 separate spots. Because this is reversible. Like, sure, the measurements need to be exactly precise. Like, maybe the person needs to be in the exact center of the room. But their head could still be, like, rotated 180 degrees or even, like, at 90-degree increments, right? They could be pointed in, like, 90-degree increments in this room. That's why, like, the person's guaranteed to be in an exact spot. But their head could be in one of 4 positions. Or maybe one of 2, depending on, like, how strict these rules are. Well, I wanted to check the finer details, but I'll tell you about it later. Thank you, Kokichi. I appreciate your sacrifice, and I'm glad you grabbed that book for us. Kokichi's the best. At the class trials, so see you there. I really hope Kokichi lives through this. Kokichi left, blood loss clearly affecting his footing a bit. Bloody Kokichi has been added to the truth bullet section of your money pad. Let's go too. We saw Kokichi after the murder, right? Yeah, because everyone got called in, and he wasn't bloody or anything, so it's not like he did it, and he wouldn't tell us all this either way.
That's true.
Yeah, okay. Maki nervous? I see. So even she gets nervous sometimes.
Do you want to die?
What are you staring at? Do you want to die? Also, the blood being just paint, Maki would notice that. So I'm thinking that's not likely. Sure, I can't go somewhere else? No! Let me at least check one of these side rooms. No! 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 Okay, yeah, this is not gonna let me. Fine! Fine. Okay. Well, I guess I should just warp us there, huh? How do I do that again? Right, map. Where am I? Here we go. Let's just warp outside. You don't know if there's anybody to talk to along. You never know if there's somebody to talk to along the way. Doesn't look like there is. All right. Trying to judgment.
Oh dear. It would appear we have all gathered, but it seems there are less and less of us.
Oh.
Less friends mean that it's much harder to solve mystery.
Don't worry.
Well, don't worry. I'm sure you've gotten a little smarter by now, Gonta. Well, less friends also means it's easier to solve the mystery, though, because there's less people to consider being the murder. What do you mean by that, Kokichi? What do you mean by you've gotten a little smarter by now? As in, Gonta's got smart enough to plan a murder? Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah, Gonta do his best to help. Although I don't know about that though. But maybe. I want you to graduate from super idiot level to at least Kaito idiot level.
What?
Hey, what's that supposed to mean?
Are you okay?
And more importantly, are you okay, Kaito?
Ah.
Yeah, I'm feeling better now. But wow, Lucky Roll sure does pack a punch.
I don't know.
Your fault. You don't need to worry about our dwindling numbers. Only dipshits have died so far.
That being said,
I know it's a tall order, but try to use your brains this time, so I don't have to use mine.
Booyah!
These golden brain cells of mine are a gift to the entire world.
Unacceptable.
Yeah. It's as though every time you open your mouth, you become less likable. I agree, Korikio. I think Korikio is way more likable than Mew. Sorry,
Rest
Mew.
in peace.
Korikio is weird as heck and creepy as heck in like a Hisoka kind of way, almost, but not really actually. But he's creepy, right? But I still like him more. Atua, please lend us your power. No.
But
No, Angie's already dead. Stop it with the Atua nonsense. It may be difficult for us to rely on Atua, considering what happened to Angie, whom Atua loved most of all.
Well, you know.
She shouldn't have relied on Atua in the first place. But seriously, it's kind of funny seeing a robot believe in God, especially Atua.
I also...
What do you mean by especially Atua? Do you know something about Atua that we don't, Kokichi? Specifically to like Angie's religion? So what? Robots can believe in God.
Indeed.
Actually, before I even met Angie, I had a similar experience. Really? Hearing voices, I mean. What? You might call it an inner voice. It tells me what to do whenever I'm in trouble. What? Tells you what to do whenever you're in trouble? Hold on. Before you even met Angie, so that would be before any of this ever happened at all.
Got a minute?
How long are you gonna say that for? Tua and ghosts don't matter right now. It's hard to know what things I'm picking up on are actual relevant, useful, important things that mean something, and what stuff is just stuff. Like when he says something like that, I don't know if I should. It's good. It's good because I don't know whether I need to look deeper into that or if I shouldn't. And so it's like hiding a forest. It's hiding a tree in a forest, right? There's a lot of different plot points that I could be trying to latch onto, and not all of them might be relevant.
Jeez.
Yeah, the trial this time is gonna be rough. We got caught in Monokuma's trap.
Huh?
It's trap?
That's right.
It's probably made the fourth floor so scary on purpose to prevent me from investigating. Now, why did you not investigate it at all, Kaito? Come on.
All right.
It's not like you. No, he didn't. What was Kaito doing other than helping with the investigation? Getting ready to kill somebody doing a seance? Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way.
Hey, so
Juichi, say something.
Huh?
What should I say? Alright. Kokichi, what do you gotta say, buddy? I respect Angie and Tenko so much since the moment we met.
shut up!
Shut up, nothing's gonna be solved by crying about it.
All right already.
Besides, that was a lie, wasn't it?
It's a lie.
Yep, you guys have figured me out already. There's no point keeping up the act. Kokichi never changes, no matter what situation he's in. But that's what makes him lovable. Don't you think so? I think so.
Okay.
Tua and Ghost don't matter right now. The culprit is among us. Sus. But you know who has changed? Himiko. And that I don't like. ... That's all she got to say. Gonta? Gonta do his best to help. Uh-huh. Tsumugi? So, in the end, the culprit really was... No, it's nothing. We can talk about it once the trial starts. What? The culprit really was what?
Please wait.
It's true. Although I do not know if it can be attributed to a god per se. I can hear an inner voice guiding me when I don't know what to do. Can't explain why, but I believe that voice will lead me to hope as long as I listen to it. It's so suspicious. He hears an inner voice guiding you when you don't know what to do. But he says it's before he even met Angie, so it can't be from Mew. I was thinking like, oh, maybe Mew did something to him, like other than just messing with his eyes, right? Maybe she also gave him like night vision, but also in addition to that, messed with him and made him like kill for some reason. Like, is that a possibility? It seems like it's a possibility, but he said that he has had this voice. He's had this voice since before he even met Angie, which is before any of this. So maybe Mew just tampered with that voice? I don't know.
On your knees.
Shut up. Why the fuck is a robot talking about a god anyway? It's unseemly.
You're so dumb.
And her voice is probably just a radio or something, like in taxis and stuff. You're probably right.
Funny.
It was unwise for me to confide in you all. I don't think that Kokichi might not be far off the mark. Torquillo, sorry about your seance, buddy.
Why did the seance fail? I never did figure out why.
See, he's still more interested in that than the case. How far did I get in? Hold on a second. How far did I get in Kokichi's hangout? Okay, not to the end yet. I really want to finish his hangout.
Damn.
This trial's gonna be rough since I couldn't do any investigating. Yeah, you really should have done investigating if you weren't the killer. That's really not good. Really makes you look suspicious, and I'm not talking to Mew. So, is that everybody? I think that's everybody. Alright, let's go. Ramble, ramble, ramble. Let's start rambling. Same old cutscene, with the water spilling out through nothing. As we walk toward the elevator in silence, or as usual we walk toward the elevator in silence, right? Yeah. As soon as we remaining survivors stepped aboard, and we go. We descended. Perhaps because there were fewer of us, the elevators seemed to move faster. Wouldn't it be move slower if there were fewer of us, since there's less weight on it? Let me read that manual, effects on and off, power. I'm sure I've read that before, but... And so we fell faster and faster downward into the black. The elevator stopped, and just like always, the doors parted slowly. The light that shines on us from the other side, the bright light of our future. Or is it? Or is it? These trial grounds don't change as much from trial to trial, but I don't mind. It looks fine.
Boy, they look really depressed. Must be because there's even less participants now. Don't say they look depressed. You'll make Monodam sad. As much as I'd love to keep hearing this adorable back and forth.
Now then,
Let's hurry up and get this started.
extreme!
At last, the class trial will begin. I hope you enjoy to your heart's content.
I feel like I've lost my ability to do Monokuma's voice well. The third class trial was about to begin. Just because I haven't voiced him in a while. Angie Yonaka, the ultimate artist. Okay, let's take a moment to take in this scene. There's that mallet still, by the way, over there. It's just making me think of like the murders that Celeste did and whatever, but it's obviously not relevant here. So there's that sword, and there's the scythe. The scythe came from the assassin's lab. The sword came from Korakiyo's lab. Somebody came in here. There was talk earlier about whether or not one of these people came back to life and did the murdering. But I don't see any reason to think that right now. Obviously, we just haven't, because we haven't seen any evidence that somebody actually did come back to life yet. It's still very possible. It's something we have to keep at the back of our mind. But for now, I'm going to go on the assumption that none of these people came back to life. Or if they did, they're one of the people that's still hanging there. And if they did, they're one of the people that's still hanging there, and they're not actually a wax sculpture. But I'm going to continue with the assumption that that's not the case. So somebody managed to get in here and kill the ultimate artist, and it was likely somebody who was part of her group. And that person was likely Samugi. I'm just laying out my theories right now. Why? Because she's suspicious. That's about it. I don't know. Continue on. She created the Ultimate Academy Student Council to try to prevent the killing game. Then Tenko Chabashira, the Ultimate Aikido Master. She hated men, but I knew that she hated this terrible killing game even more. The two who were killed were both trying to stop the killing. And who was the one who killed them? Was it one person? Two different people? We need to pin that down in this class trial. I'm just thinking right now, is there any possibility that Gonta had anything to do with this? Or was manipulated to doing any of this? I don't know. In order to live, we have to find the truth. There's so many possibilities, and I love it. I love it when there's so many different possibilities, and I can't make a good theory. And I will fight for it. I will fight with truth and lies in this class trial. It's so cool, by the way, that we fight with lies as well in this game. I really like that addition to this trial system. As confusing as it can be. Do I want to save? Yes, I do. Is this going to take us to the pre-trial prep? I'm assuming it will, right? Yeah, this should just take us to the pre-trial prep, right? Okay, good. So, first off, let's check the skills. Because I've been saving things up, right? Time limit in each phase. That's kind of something that we need, right? But there was one that regains health as well. Focus gauge drains slower. Recovers the influence gauge while concentrating and during fever time. This was the one that I wanted to save up with. That's the one that we're buying. So yeah, let's equip that. Cool. Let's view the handbook. And before anything, let's save so that we don't have to remember to set that skill again. There we go. Alright, now let's just take a quick recap on what any of my possible theories are. Like I said, a little bit tired today. I'm not going to go through the trial right now. I know I won't be able to survive through it, especially since I'm having to rely on candy in order to keep myself alive. So we'll do that next time. But I'll give my thoughts. So we found duct tape in this room, in the art room. Duct tape with blood on it. That is the key to everything. Why is that the key to everything? Because I don't know what it does. The fact that I don't know what it does means that it's the key to everything. And so what I think is maybe that the duct tape was used to keep one of the doors unlocked or something for a certain amount of time. Or to lock the doors after they left or something like that. It had something to do with the locked room murder, the duct tape did. So that's the deal with that. And then for the other murder of Tenko... Oh, but what's with the dried blood here? There's the dried blood, so that would imply that Angie was killed over here, not in the other place. I mean, that would solve the whole locked room murder completely, right? Because if she was not in that room in the first place, then the room would not have been locked. So somebody could have just tossed her in there and then locked everything and left. So the only thing that they would need to do is just lock the room as they leave. And that must have had something to do with the duct tape, I would guess. Probably had something to do with the duct tape. And I don't know what else. But Angie was killed in this room. But there wasn't even that much blood, though, on the other side of it. It was much less blood. Was she knocked unconscious in this room? Yeah, so she must have been knocked unconscious in this room, like, pretty brutally. That was enough to cause a bunch of bleeding. But from underneath the floorboards? Like, how does that make sense? I don't know. I am super confused for this one. I'll be honest. I have no idea. I think I'm just gonna have to go into this one. I'd love to give more of my theories, but I don't have any more theories. I actually have very little clue what's actually going on in this particular double murder. So I think I'm actually just gonna end things there. This will be a little bit of a shorter, like, post-discussion section because I just don't know. There's a lot of different plot points, a lot of things that are people that are suspicious, they're acting suspicious, a lot of things that are suspicious, but I don't know what any of it means. So next time we'll start the class trial, we'll go through the whole thing, and we'll get some answers, and I'm sure I'm gonna really enjoy it because I am very confused, and I like that. So I hope you'll enjoy that as well. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.